Hello and welcome back to theory class. Today is less of a theory though, and more of a question. Is Susan dead? Right, before we get started, there will be spoilers about Doctor Who. If you haven't got up to the most recent things in Doctor Who, I suggest you leave this video and go watch up to the recent things of Doctor Who, or I may spoil stuff that you didn't know. So there's my spoiler warning. So let's get started. So first I want to talk about, before I get into about Susan, is regeneration. Question is, what is regeneration? Well, as we've seen, it's where somebody, a Time Lord, gets basically atomized and re-put back together as a different person with the memories of the older person. Well, most of the memories anyway. That's what we know. It's been around for 50 odd years, so we all know how that works. But however, there is been little bits of more detail about regeneration and Time Lords added in the series, mainly the modern series. Now, I have only seen the modern series, so if there are any quotes or anything from the old series that would be relevant, I won't know them, but I'd love to hear them in the comments below. What we know from the modern series is that, one, regenerations can be added onto with regeneration cycles, making you be able to regenerate more than your normal 13 bodies. You can regenerate even more. We also know that regenerations can be passed down through DNA. For example, Jenny, we saw that she had the DNA taken from the 10th Doctor to be made, and she was able to regenerate at the end of the episode. Also, what we know from regeneration, because of River's song, is that you can cook up a Time Lord in a sense. You can make one from scratch by being conceived in the time vortex. Now, how that exactly works, we haven't been given a clear answer, but I assume that that means that while you're in the time vortex, the time vortex somehow manipulates your DNA or something like that. It's not perfectly made clear. But where did regeneration come from? Like, it's never made clear. Is it just something that happened over time? Vastra says to the Doctor, in I think it's A Good Man Goes to War, you told me how your people were made after years or hundreds or thousands of years of exposure to the time vortex. Now, I know what that sounds like. It's like loads of people getting exposed and then bringing it, but I don't think that's exactly right. I think it was one person that got exposed enough to have a gene, a mutation of sorts, to be able to regenerate, and this person was a Gallifreyan, and the gene was then like being able to pass through Gallifreyans. Now, I think what happened at some point was some Gallifreyan doctor, or not that kind of not the Doctor, a general doctor or someone, managed to locate the regeneration gene inside of someone that was a Gallifreyan with the regeneration powers, and was able to then say, okay, this is what it is, we'll extract that and sort of clone it so we can give like other people this ability, this amazing ability. And the reason I think this is because the fact is we have only known about regeneration in Time Lords, not Gallifreyans. So I believe that the regeneration of sorts is something you only get given, and especially because we've seen a manifestation of a regeneration ability, as in the regeneration cycle being given to the Doctor. But yeah, we've seen the ability being given to the Doctor, so it's something that's clearly been taken out of like something to give a physical form to isolate just the regeneration part of something. But this also makes me think that if it's something you are given into and not necessarily born with, maybe the Doctor didn't pass on the gene, or it isn't a gene that can be passed on to Susan when she was born. I know she's a grandchild, so it's less down the line. Her parents might have not have had the gene or something, so it's not necessarily guaranteed that Susan can actually regenerate. In all the things that I looked up, I couldn't find a source saying that she could regenerate, but there was no source either saying she couldn't. Yes, she would be able to live for hundreds of years, but in modern Who, we have never re-seen her. That could just be to do with the people that are running the show's choice. But could it be the in-canon reason is Susan's most likely dead? Couldn't it be the possibility that even if she could live like the Doctor did without a regeneration for hundreds of years, that she simply got injured or killed or loss of health, just passed away, and without the gene or any sort of regeneration cycle given to her, she simply died, and that's it. There was she had nothing to save herself like her grandfather did. It's tragic, but then what else could it be? So that is my thoughts on Susan being alive or dead. I would love to hear your opinions, and if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. It helps a lot. And if you want to see more theories, click the subscribe button, and hopefully I will be doing more theories very shortly. So it's a bye from me, and I will see you next class.